Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with the Papercraft Society Advent Calendar for December the 17th. And this one is again by Textures. So let's have a look what's inside. Oh yeah, it's a stencil with lots of little dots. Very interesting, very fine detail, and very sturdy material as well. So I'll have a quick think what I want to do with this. There are different ways of using stencils. Obviously the normal way is to, or one of the more common applications is to just put some ink, just use it for ink blending through it. We could use it for paste, but you can also dry emboss with stencils. So I don't know yet though whether this is too fine. I think I'll have a go at that, a trial run, and I'll see what design I come up with. Yes, this worked beautifully. I've got here some cardstock. You can see these are actually some dividers for a folder. This is, I don't even know what thickness it is. It's more like a thicker paper, and I gather that that would be the best to work with fine details like that. And I misted this from both sides. That's why it's a bit wrinkly here. And let the paper absorb water just a little bit, and then in my die cutting machine I just have the normal sandwich like I have for the dies, but I put a silicone mat underneath. This is just a kitchen mat that I cut apart. I think most die cutting machines come with like a tan mat, they're called nowadays. I probably had one, thought it was packaging and threw it away. So yeah, so you put your paper down there and the stencil on top, and on the top cutting plate, and this is what you get. I think this is really, really cool. I will probably do this once more and cut this out before I put it through the die cutting machine, because if I die cut it now, obviously this will all be flattened again. But I might even try it with a thicker cardstock. I don't know yet what to do with this design, but that was just a trial run. So as I said, I'll have another think, and yeah, we'll come back when I have prepared a few things. So it only took me 2 minutes to make up my mind what I want to do with this. I have found some white cardstock again. This is a really thin, 160 max I think, if not 130 GSM. But I have taped the stencil down this time, because when it comes out of the die cutting machine I want to use it like normal, and I want to put some ink over the embossed areas. And for that I've got my stencil brushes here, and I will use different colours, but I come to that when I have embossed it. So as normal I will just use my water, just mist it a little bit from the back, leave that for a minute, and then put it through my die cutting machine. I have just picked a few rainbow colours, so I think I'll start in the middle with the purple. I want to do, yeah, like proper rainbow colours. So, oops, some silicone there. So I'm going just in with my ink blending brush. I'm going on the side here, and I'm pressing this down because it did actually want to move out a little bit. I think that's enough, trying to squeeze all the colours in. Just cleaning this off here. That would be fine for me to go into my blue. This one is the Lavinia Elements Blue Lagoon. Obviously any ink blending ink pad is fine. So, and I'm just going over the purple on the edges and blending this out. For the green I've got the mowed lawn. That's quite juicy, so need to be careful with that. So I'm trying to go into the blue area there, making sure I don't have any white edges or areas. So as you can see, I don't have an ink blending brush for every colour. I sort of keep them to one colour, but I do wash them in between. Actually do have another one there, but I think I used that for some black soot. So I'm just using, I tell you what, I'm going in with the yellow first, because then I can use the same brush, or the yellow's due anyway. Just didn't think. Oh, this is, by the way, this is the Element Sundance. This ink pad is a bit deteriorating. The foam is coming apart after all these years now, so I think I need to replace that at one point. So for the orange, I've got the carved pumpkin, and again, I know this is really, really juicy. So I'll tell you what I do, I just pick up some residue I've got in the lid here. Doesn't seem to be a lot of contrast compared to the yellow. And I will just use the same brush for the red, which is the paprika from Lavinia. So I'm still pressing the stencil down because I hope that will keep me from going through the bristles to the sides of the dots. So, and if I have done it all correctly, I hopefully have just inked up the embossed areas. I'm just seeing, I think the outer one needs a bit more pressure. These dots are really, really small. Yep, I've got a bit of a smudge here where I've probably gone through at an angle, but that is really nice. I like the look of that. So I'm leaving this to dry because again this is a bit damp from me spraying the water. Oh, by the way, there is, as I said before, it's just a hint of colour on the outer ones here. This angle is a bit better, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I like the look of that. I just have to think now of a design how to use that on a card, and as I have to go to work in about an hour, I'll leave this now and continue this afternoon. For you, obviously, that's just a few seconds later. I have cut my panel down just really around this circle here, and I think this is now, yeah, 4 inches by 4 inches square. So that's why I decided to go for a square card. I cut this from an A4 sheet of paper, and this measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And I thought I could sit this on here, but obviously this looks a bit boring, and I thought I could use my rainbow colours again and create a frame. But rather than just creating the whole panel as a frame, I would like to keep some white, and that's why I would like to put some washi tape down on the edges and just create a frame really around the picture here. So you can use any low-tack tape. I sometimes like to use my Scotch removable, but I've got this cheap washi tape that I really don't need. So I'm just using the width of it. That just defines now where my how wide my frame is. And I'm just setting this down. Just making sure I go along the edge so I know it's even. So I'm putting some scrap paper underneath, because that means I can also stick it down. The only thing I need to be cautious about is not to get any ink on the inside here of the card. I've got a tendency to do that, but I don't want to fold it underneath, because then I might have staining that way. So I'm pressing this all firmly down, and now I'm just coming in with my ink blending brushes, and I'm just using the same colours again, and this time I'm just going top to bottom, whereas here obviously I went from the inside to the outside. And again, I'm cautious. I'll just find some scrap paper to put on the top here, because I've got the tendency to put my ink pads here and then I leave some stains on the back of the card. So I don't think I need to show you the full process, but I'm just showing you the first row. So I always dab this off in the lid a little bit, just in case I've got too much. And then first of all, with a light application, I'm going in. I think this could be a bit darker. Most of it obviously will disappear behind the panel anyway, so I'm just concentrating on the edges. I think that's already enough. So I will do the rest in all the colours I had before, and then I'll show you the reveal. I didn't plan it that well, so I had, although this looks like all one panel, that's actually orange and yellow. I didn't have a lot of space here for the blue and the purple, but it doesn't really matter. So I can now take this tape off. I know mine comes off really easily, and I'm moving it away that way because, as I said, I don't want to get any splodges on that panel. If you're struggling to get your tape off, use your heat tool, warm up the adhesive, and then it should come off easily. Just popping them on the side here, the tapes. I also don't want to handle them too much because I don't want get any stains on my fingers. So you can see you get a very crisp edge. So I need to leave that to dry just a little bit, and then I will adhere this panel on the front, and I will just find a sentiment. I don't want to do too much to it. I'm still tempted to cut it out into a circle, but I don't know. I don't really want to lose the embossing on it. So if I had planned ahead, I think that might give a nicer look. I don't know yet. I might risk it and just start it all over again. This is what I'm like sometimes. But yeah, I will just find a sentiment and then I will show you the finished card. I just want to show you a trick if you've never seen that. I learned this from Natasha Foot. I'm using some tape here to stick this down because it's really thin paper and I don't want any glue to show through. So I put the strips around here and just a little one in the middle here, and I've peeled this off just a sort of a third way in, and I've folded the release paper over just like this. So I can now place this where I want it. Actually the camera's a little bit in the way, but I think this is fine. And before I'm pressing it down on the edges, I'm actually pressing it down in the middle. And when I know I've got them where I want them, I can now peel the release paper off. So, and I'm pressing all along as well, because I'm conscious that this might actually warp because it's thinner paper. I suggest you use actually something a bit more sturdy than I have used. And I can press this all down, and then this is neatly adhered without any lumps from any glue. So yeah, now I need to find a sentiment. I'm not sure yet whether I actually want the sentiment in the middle. I think that would actually work rather than having it at the bottom. In my stash, I found a few sentiments that would work perfectly, I think. This is all the same die here. I bought that at the works one year. I nearly didn't buy it, and I'm so glad I did, because I think this is really versatile. This one is black cardstock, and I painted over it with my mica powders to give this rainbow look, and I think that would work really, really nicely. And then these two, these are, I stamped with, I think, wow bonding powder, and then foiled these and then die cut this. And I think, you know, it's white cardstock, but I must have painted the background a little bit grey or silver. It might even be a glitter pen. So I think these would work nicely as well, although they do get a bit lost on the dots. And I've also got, when I did some foiling, this is some foiling on double-sided adhesive. I then die cut my sentiment from it, put it on some vellum, and then yeah, I foiled it with rainbow foil, so that would work as well. I'll have a think about this, which one I want. This one, I could even be tempted to paint the letters black, because the foil would still resist that. I might have a go at that actually and give that a try, or just go in with my ink, my black soot, and have a look if that works. And then, yeah, and then I will definitely show you the finished card. So here's my finished card. You can see the foiling there. So I did ink blend over this with my black soot, and then I wiped it with a tissue to make sure I had no residue on the foiling. And I did remember I did the foiling with my wow embossing pen. I basically wrote happy birthday onto the cardstock first, and then I foiled it, and then I die cut from it. So this is how you can create the effect. So yeah, and it's good to use stuff from my stash and make it work. And yeah, it's a card that is different from what I normally produce, but yeah, I think I like it. So I'm not sure I will use this stencil all the time, but for cards like these, yeah, I think I could use it. And I'm definitely curious to see what the other card makers use this stencil for and how they use it. Yeah, I'm curious to see that tomorrow morning. So yeah, if you like my cards, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I'm creating tomorrow, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.